I mean, side quests. I don't want to turn down side quests.
Of course, of course, of course. All you need to do is sign this waiver, and just like that, snap! You're part of the family. All I need is your lovely little autograph. What do you say?
I want to read this waiver. Fabulous 5 sounds too good to be true. It does.
This Fabulous 5 business sounds too good to be true. I'm going to pass.
Rather foolish to pass such a lucrative opportunity, don't you think? Agreed. He did come on a little too strongly, I think.
Agreed. You came on a little bit too strongly there, buddy.
Oh, how frightfully disappointing. How illogical and short-sighted of you. To deny the Fabulous 5. It is a crime against reason and humanity.
He's still at it.
Opportunity knocks, and you close the blinds. Now, Lackey's life is yours, and by choice, too. So long. Fare thee well, though you won't.
I don't buy into it. He went far over the top. And then, because if he recruited us, he would get a share of our money and blah blah blah. Yeah, I don't buy into it. Screw the guy.
Your head's growing more swollen than saffrons, I dare say.
Unsinkable Sam.
Never saw you in the king crab before. You're welcome to scratch me behind the ears if you like. I won't scratch back.
At least he's upfront about it. Who are you?
I am Unsinkable Sam. At least that's what they call me around here. Used to be a ship's cat, but the clipper I was on sank when I was the only one to wrestle himself free from the waves. But the people here were kind and took me in, being the king crab's foremost patron ever since.
Tell me about the ship you're
A
on.
magnificent ship she was. Used to belong to a pirate, I was told. Unlike me, she didn't prove to be unsinkable, though. We hit the cliffs right neath the lighthouse. Not very apt a name for that building, I must say, for no light was shining from it.
Interesting.
The moment I hit the water, I writhed around like I would on a hot tin roof. By some miracle, I managed to reach the beach, covered in kelp and smelling worse than a fish's funeral parlor. But I was alive, and that was more than anybody else could say.
You're the only survivor?
So I was. What friends I had. They drowned alongside the rats I used to hunt in the galley. And there I was, all alone. Not that I have it bad here, mind you. I've milk and fish aplenty. Most folks will pet me kindly, and when one of the village girls holds me tight against her ample bosom, I purr up a storm. But I do long for a companion of my own kind, and in that regard, there is no one like Maxine.
About Maxine?
Maxine, the mayor's darling pet. So gentle, so fair a feline. The grace of her whiskers, the subtle palette of dyes in her sable coat. She's one of a kind, that cat. She likes me. I know she does. But when I declare my love, she backs away. I don't know why. I have serenaded her and braved many a bucket of water for my efforts. But for some reason, she is not to be swayed.
Maybe you're not as persuasive as you think.
By all means.
I'm not going to ask him about the undead or the orcs. I want to ask him about the murder.
Ah, hello.
The Duke of
I
Ferrell.
suppose you're here to viciously interrogate me for information I don't have, like our noble Captain Aureus before you.
Tell me about yourself.
I am the Duke of Ferrell, though I suppose my name is in the mouths of enough ruthless gossipers that you've heard of me by now.
I heard quite a story involving you and Esmeralda.
Yes, she and I have a history. That's hardly a secret anymore. I quite doubt it was even a secret from Jake while he lived. As easy as it would be to pin suspicions on Esmeralda or I assure you that the affair was never so steamy and sordid as the busybodies around town make it out to be. Jake and Esmeralda had no great affection for each other. He had his interests, she had hers, and there was little passion left between them. Certainly not enough to fuel a murder.
What do you know about the murder?
Very tragic news. I won't posture and say that the Counselor and I were anything near allies, but I truly never wished the man harm.
I kind of buy him.
Back, demon! Back, or I'll... Well, what's this? Oh, Medora, you lummox. 1,000 pardons, comrade. This old bear's edgier than a dodecahedron these days.
Yeah, seems
I'll
it.
tell you, it sure does me good to set eyes on another of our order. From Academy West, aren't you? Give Captain Mortruce my regards next time you see him.
The closest I've come to my patch is when I linger over long while lighting my pipe.
Who did you say you were? I don't recognize you from the academy.
You wouldn't. I trained up in Academy North, after all. We don't cross paths with you Westies all that often, but it's always a pleasure when we do. Medora's the name. Retired, or so the Order keeps trying to tell me, but never out of commission. My hand to your cause and my sword at your side.
Oh, thanks. I hadn't heard there was another Source Hunter being assigned to Sicil. What are you doing here?
Heavens hornets! That's quite a story, comrade. And come to think of it, one that might concern you. See, I'm here on, well, let's call it a loan from a town to the north of here. Hunter's Edge by name.
Is this a new companion?
There's been an attack there, comrade. Orcs. Not your run-of-the-mill savages either, but ones who've taken dark magic to new heights.
Now I'm interested.
What they want in Hunter's Edge, I can't say, but it's my responsibility to send them packing. Preferably with their horns in their suitcases and a knee-knocking fear of ever crossing paths with a sauce hunter again. I came south seeking the Legion's help, only to find it tied here in Sicil. They don't have a spare soldier to send northward, and even in my finest form, I can't clear the place of that many orcs without backup.
Orcs attacked your village. How did you manage to escape?
By the skin of my teeth, comrade. The savages were rounding up villagers when one of them activated a tripwire on our village wizard's property. Fortunately for me, that particular wizard has a penchant for things that go boom in the night.
I think we all know people like that.
I managed to wrench free of my captor's grip and flee toward the forest. He pursued me for miles, but I'd lost him before I made it into the Sicil hinterlands.
What's your plan of attack?
Well, comrade, I hadn't thought of it till you tapped my shoulder just now. But perhaps that's where you come in.
Maybe.
I need a contingent I can trust if I'm to take back the town. And the way I see it, you could use reinforcements here in town.
Yeah, that's probably
I've
true.
been scouting Sicil for some time now, and I believe I've sussed out sufficient intel to help solve the murder of the Counselor. With our minds and swords in tandem, we'll make short work of the perpetrator.
So that's your proposition. You help us here in Sicil and we take back your village.
But it seems you've got all the help you need, haven't you? More's the pity. We could have beheaded 100 Source Yetis in the name of the Order.
I'd be up for that. What evidence of Source in Sicil have you
More
found?
than I'd hoped, comrade. I don't know what in tarnation's gotten into the townsfolk here, but there's enough dark magic running roughshod to topple a small mountain. There's Mayor Cecil's doings for one, and the mysteries of our master Thaleron for another. And on top of it all, the feline menace is lurking at every hearth and shadow.
Tell me about the feline menace.
You mean you don't already know, comrade? Their kind can see in the dark. It ain't natural.
They're just cats. Tell me about Mayor Cecil.
Now don't get me wrong. I think the mayor's a decent sort, even if he can't hear farther than the tip of his own nose. But from what I've heard whispered around the docks, the old guy's gotten himself mixed up in something not quite on this side of the law.
Yeah, I think we know
I
about this.
suspect an illegal Source artifact or substance is at the root of it, but exactly what or who's given it to him, I can't say. And since I haven't technically been assigned to Cecile, I don't have the authority to interrogate him.
Tell me about Theleron.
Fella seems like a humble doctor, but I bet my sword he's dealing in something darker in splints and tonics.
You just see conspiracy everywhere you look, don't you?
A loose-lipped fishmonger let slip that she'd seen our good doctor scale the city wall on 2 separate occasions, well past midnight each time. What business could he have among the undead?
That is actually quite interesting.
Hardly the habit of an innocent healer, I'd say.
Your head's growing more swollen than saffrons, I dare say.
Is she supposed to join
A
us?
source hunter? I'd like to report some dark magic. Only tainted hearts could tip as miserably as this lot.
So you're the waitress
Been
around
at the
here.
King Crab nearly 10 years now, personally. Seen every character you can imagine, from bums to wizards, passed through these doors for a pint and a place to rest.
Were you here the night of Jake's murder?
I think I'm one of the last folks to hear him alive. That awful scream has been ringing in my ears ever since. And with the room where it all happened still under quarantine, we've a constant reminder of exactly what happened. Though that's the question, isn't it? What exactly did happen? We all thought it was Esmeralda who checked into that room, and the Duke that followed her in. I was washing up and nudging the last of the lushes out of the door when a cloaked woman rushed in right past me. I never got a good look at her, damn my eyes, but I figured the way she disappeared that she was visiting one of the lodgers. Lucky for the perpetrators, I was rinsing bottles in the back when the terrible deed took place and saw nothing more. I'm not proud to say I ducked under the counter and damn well stayed there till I heard Ivad fling that door open, but I was paralyzed with fright.
Okay, interesting.
To ancient and arcane secrets, the likes of which I doubt you could even fathom, old friend.
Anna and Alistair.
What have we here? A source hunter, is it? Well, my day just became rather more stimulating. Oh, stand still then, if you don't mind. I want to take a good long look at the so-called savior of Cecile.
Well, I do wear the title well.
Tall as an elf, strong as an orc, but your face, quite classical, isn't it? Statuesque, some might say. Yes, smooth and sturdy as marble, yet fine as a chisel's edge.
She's laying it on a bit thick.
And my word, what passion burns from your eyes.
Very thick.
Please forgive my being forward, but I dare say, can it be? Well, you're exactly the person I've been searching for.
About the Fabulous Five?
Already refused to join, but darling, didn't you? How can we... Refused? Oh, a plague on both our houses. From now we may never link our destinies. Away from me now, oh perfect specimen. Torment me no further. But if you happen to meet more able-bodied, agile-minded adventurers, don't hesitate to, send them my way. A woman can only mourn for so long. My only one.
I'm not going to talk to Alistair on the back of that.
Come now, Alistair. Surely you've met your match one sort.
Francis.
The closest I've got to my nuts is when I linger over long while lighting my pipe. Greetings, traveller, and may the Immaculate Conduit's myriad blessings comfort and cradle you. Tell me, have you yet heard the revelation?
Tell me about yourself.
What's in a name, dear friend? For we all begin equal in the Conduit's eyes, and only through great deeds may enter into her inner ring.
What revelation do you mean exactly?
You mean you haven't heard? Oh, what fortune that I may share the
Fabulous
goddess's
Five.
salvation with one who has, as yet, been lost. Steel yourself, friend, for your mortal spirit could be forever transformed from this moment forth. The conduit, our link to the goddess herself, has given us a special gift, and the gift is thus: by following her instructions and becoming
Maybe not.
initiated into the one way, we can each of us live on for a span greater than the number of stars that twinkle within the goddess's right eye.
Sauce, magic. Tell me about this conduit.
She came from on high to we mortals and showed us the path to the goddess, where all living souls are naturally inclined. She showed us that injury and malady need not mark the end of life, but that through her methods we could ascend to greater life in service of the goddess.
What do you mean by the one way?
For this hallowed information, you must seek an immaculate chapel. Go north, friend, through the forest and into the town of Silverglen, where all may be revealed. There, among her followers and friends, dwells the goddess's ecstasy, her one way.
I'll take my
Go
leave.
on the path to the righteous, my friend. Forget not that the conduit has great plans for you.
Is he spreading Christianity? Is that what's happening here?
He's an immaculate. But I thought they'd been banished after the death of the Source King.
Novak?
Corpses among necromancers go. Sooner or later,
Pointless chatter with strangers does so thrill me. How did you know? Please continue interrupting my drink if you'd be so kind.
Who are you?
How curious of you to show interest in a lonesome stranger at the bar. Let me answer by saying that who I am is hardly any of your business. And anyone with an ounce of tact would have known that already.
Can you tell me about the Fabulous Five?
Can I tell you? I suppose I can. And I could. But why would I turn my attention away from this whiskey when Mendius right outside is simply panting with excitement about the whole affair?
That's a good point. I think we need to talk to Yard, but he keeps walking around. Stop moving.
Welcome to the King Crab Inn, and a pleasure to have you. You look like you could use a round or three, so what'll it be? Have a seat and stay a while.
Have any work for a trio of
Three hopeless
sailors?
sailors. Truly wish I could help you, but I'm barely keeping afloat as it is.
Jake's murder.
Mind if we keep our voices down over that sensitive subject? Death and dark magic ain't exactly great for business, you know.
Well, I'm investigating. Hey, Nedzoid.
That room where it happened, it was rented to a certain woman. Though I regret to say I can't say exactly who. This
Why?
inn isn't in the business of asking many questions, if you know what I mean. She came heavily cloaked, but paid the full sum in advance. I was used to such transactions after many similar concerning a certain Esmeralda. Figured this were just more at same.
So they've set it up to look like her.
I saw one other figure go into the room that night. Someone tall, built broad like a man, but shrouded the same as she. Again, standard practice for Mrs. Counsellor and her visitors. I was startled awake by a horrendous hubbub shortly after midnight. I jumped up and grabbed me grandpappy's machete, bleary-eyed and awash in fright. By the time I burst into that room, it was horribly silent. There was only Jake on the floor, dead, surrounded by what may as well have been a battlefield. Whoever done it has escaped through the window, but I saw nary a soul when I looked out. You can bet I hightailed it to the Legion barracks faster than a jackrabbit after that.
Suspect anyone?
Councillor Jake, that poor man. I knew too much about his affairs, you know. Never figured it my business to say anything, but after all that's happened, I wonder if that weren't a grave mistake.
Maybe.
Esmeralda's longest-standing lover has the audacity to remain lodged at this very inn, you know. He's called the Duke of Ferrell, a high title for a low man. If you haven't yet asked him about Esmeralda, I'd recommend it.
I have. How's business around
Well,
here?
between you and me, things have been rather slow since the incident. But with spirits high and liquor flowing like it is tonight, it seems that Crab may just come out of that pinch.
Well, I'll see what I can do about it.
Tell me, Alistair, have you ever had the fortune of challenging the fate?
Now, I want to go down there, but there's a stone in there.
Greetings, Source Hunter.
I don't mean to hinder your investigation, but I can't open this door for anyone who hasn't received Captain Aureus' explicit approval.
I've spoken to Orifice, let me inside.
Not exactly the friendliest bloke, the Captain, is he?
No.
Your reward for getting your ear chewed off is a waltz through the town's finest magical murder scene. Enjoy.
He's quite light-hearted for this role, isn't he? Let's go. Everybody in. I don't like that. I hope we're not injured. I've already died once this stream.
What happened? Is this a dream?
I don't think so. That stone, somehow it sent us flying into the stars.
It certainly did. Yeah, there's it's just about everything seems to have voice acting. Which, I mean, I personally like. It saves me reading stuff out, and that's why I'm not going to read the books, because I'm not really that interested. But everything seems to just have some sort of voice acting element to it. Some of the dialogue isn't, and I don't know if that's a bug or what, but...
Terrible!
Zyzax.
Terrible! It will consume us all!
What?
By the quill that lasts a billion words, what's this? 2 Rivalonians here? At the end of space and time? How very, very, very curious.
At the end of space and time? You mad?
Perhaps my newfound comrade, but that is hardly our chiefest concern. We stand on a tiny vestige of space and time, and the ground is fast shrinking beneath our feet.
Yes.
It's good you appeared, however you did it, precisely when and where you did, or you might have found yourself free floating in empty space.
How can we breathe? Is my first question.
Oh, but I suppose I should make a proper introduction. Zixax the historian at your service. It is my job to record all that was and is, and hopefully all that is to be.
Why is, as you say, this place shrinking?
At last a question I can answer most definitively. I mentioned already that this place is the end of time. If that didn't send your heart into your stomach and your pulse a-flutter, it should have.
Yeah, but how are we breathing?
Time ought naturally to have no end at all. Indeed, I can think of no worse nightmare for a chronicler such as myself. But something totally, utterly terrible has happened.
Out with it, Sir Imp. What exactly has happened here?
So don't tell, I always say. So go, peer through yonder looking lens, and feast your soon-to-be terrified eyes on the darkness that is approaching.
That's a very...
Quite mad.
Then we had better appease him and have a look through the looking lens.
Yeah, very steampunk looking lens, isn't it? We can loot all this stuff? Awesome.
Another piece of trash.
Yeah, it's not the best, but we'll take it, right? Let's have a look. Let's see what he's waiting on about. It's a space dragon.
You looked. You saw. Terrifying, isn't... What's this? The portal. It's... The portal has become active. Fantastic. Astounding. Onward we should go.
What? Is this just the same thing? Yeah, it is. Did it close the portal? No, it didn't.
The portal!
Well.
It's quite sprung to life, just like the long dormant flames that decorate this observatory. After all my waiting and hoping, could it be you, dear stranger? You must be the key. Something about your presence here is causing the end of time to grow. The true end itself to move further away.
Well, that's a twist I didn't see coming.
Those torches, a light! This portal active once more! It cannot be coincidence.
What about the space dragon?
Goodness me, how right you are. There's so much to take in, I'd nearly forgotten. And what you saw has been haunting my mind since I first discovered it. It is the void itself. The dragon that is devouring creation. When I speak of the end of time, this is exactly what I mean.
Okay. What is that exactly?
I can't say for sure where it came from, how or why, but I do know this. It's shrinking our future by the second. And if we don't stop it, it will devour the past and present as well.
What lies beyond this portal?
Though I cannot say for certain, if it is what I believe, then our prayers might well be answered. In fact, every last question that ever plagues your noggin might well be answered, for I believe what lies beyond this portal is nothing other than...
Spit it out.
But why spoil the mystery? As soon as we leap through, we'll find out for certain.
You believe we are somehow connected to this plane?
It's not that I believe, it's that I have seen. Long have I been waiting here, hoping that one day this very portal would ignite. Then, no longer than a few mere moments after you arrive, zap it goes. The chronicler of time knows a pattern when he sees one.
Through the portal, then?
After you, after you. Oh, what wonders we may find on the other side. You first, but don't dilly-dally.
I'm taking the bottle of beer and the bottle of wine. And we can't take that book. Right, onward. Through the portal.
Yes, just as I hoped. There she is.
What the hell? Is that what I think it is? If it is, it's rather impressive. What is all this stuff? Another portal. Another portal. Well, this has taken a very big twist to the murder that I thought we were investigating. And some mysteries will have to wait to be answered, because that's where I'm going to call this stream.